Hello everyone and welcome to the Suzanne and Sarah YouTube channel. I'm Suzanne Moore, a realtor here in beautiful sunny Bend, Oregon with Realty One Group Discovery, and I'm also the founder of the Central Oregon Investor Network, which brings together investors not only from Central Oregon but from all over the country to share resources with one another, learn from each other, and create more passive income in our lives through real estate investments. So today we are going to talk to you about navigating easements, surveys, and boundaries and tell you what you need to know about these important aspects of real estate. Hello everyone, welcome to the Suzanne and Sarah YouTube channel. I'm Suzanne Moore.
And I'm Sarah Willis. We are Central Oregon's investment and real estate experts.
When it comes to owning property, understanding easements, surveys, and boundaries is crucial. These elements play a significant role in determining your land use, your access rights, and in resolving potential property disputes. So in today's video, we're going to explore what you need to know about these things to help you stay informed as a property owner. So first off, easements. What are easements? Okay, essentially an easement is a legal right that allows someone to use a portion of your property for a specific purpose. Easements can be granted voluntarily or they can be imposed by law. And we're just going to run through a couple common types of easements that you might run across. The first one is utility easements. These are pretty common. They allow utility companies to access your property and maintain or install utility infrastructure like power lines, gas pipes, or water lines. Another one is access easements. Access easements grant others the right to pass through your property to reach their own land or public land. So this might be deeded access to water. Maybe it goes through your property, but other people can go through. Another one is a conservation easement, and these are voluntary easements that restrict development on your property to protect natural resources or historical features. And sometimes you might get a conservation easement in exchange for some incentive like lower taxes or tax abatement. Another easement you might see is a driveway easement. So if your neighbor needs to use your driveway to access their property, a driveway easement may be in place. So let's talk about what you need to know about easements. First of all is property rights. Easements essentially limit your full property rights, and it's crucial to understand the scope and the terms of any easement on your land. You also want to understand the different easement types. We just talked about a few common ones, but there are tons more that serve various purposes. So before purchasing a property, make sure you research any existing easements to assess their impact on your land's use and potential value. Next one is easement rights. Easement holders have specific rights outlined in the easement agreement, and you must respect these rights while using your property. Transferability. Easements often run with the land and they're actually on the title, and that's where you'll see most easements show up is on that preliminary title report that you get from the title office when you're in the purchasing process. So easements run with the land, meaning they apply to successive property owners. So this is just something you want to be aware of when you're buying or selling property with easements. Okay, now we're going to transition over to surveys because this is essentially what defines the boundary of your property, and they're essential for documenting property boundaries accurately, and they involve the measurement and mapping of the land and really can help with a lot of different things. First of all, they can help with resolving any disputes. So they can resolve boundary issues with neighbors by providing a really clear and legally binding definition of your property lines. Surveys also help with property development because they're necessary for obtaining permits and planning your property development. Title insurance is a component as well, so lenders may require a survey in order to provide title insurance that protects you and your lender against any boundary disputes. And this is not something we see very often here in Central Oregon, but just so you know, that's something that could come up for you. Property tax assessments. These are based on the size of your property, and local authorities use these surveys to assess property taxes accurately. So, for example, I bought a property a few years ago, and I noticed when I was looking through the survey documentation that the property was actually smaller than what the county had it listed as and what it was even being marketed as. So I was able to go to the county and prove that the property was slightly smaller, and it did potentially reduce my taxes. So that's a good thing to know. All right, let's talk about boundaries disputes and what can happen. Essentially, these things arise when property owners have differing interpretations of their property boundaries, and fences do not always define the property boundary, despite what we might think. These disputes can be costly and time-consuming to resolve. There's plenty of lawyers that are happy to get involved and charge a lot to resolve these things. So in order to prevent these disputes, get a survey. It's, $900, $1,000. It's totally worth it if you have any concerns about the property lines. So you can either see if there is an existing survey that you can obtain, or you can pay for a survey yourself to confirm those boundary lines. Next up is checking local regulations, because local zoning and building regulations may dictate setback requirements and property line restrictions. Next up, it's always helpful to communicate with your neighbors and to approach things from a friendly, neighborly aspect first if you think there might be some sort of boundary line issue. So open communication can certainly help prevent misunderstandings and disputes. Finally, there's mediation and legal action, as I just mentioned. So if you are not able to amicably resolve a boundary dispute with a neighbor, you can always consider getting a mediator involved or hiring a lawyer to protect your property rights as a last resort. So just wrapping things up today, it's really important to understand easements, surveys, and boundaries, because these are crucial for understanding what your rights are as a property owner. You don't want to be caught off guard, so our greatest advice to you is, if you are a buyer, make sure you are reading that preliminary title report that comes to you from title during the purchase process. It's got lots of detail in there, tons of links, so you want to click on those links and make sure you're reading all of the things that pertain to your property. As buyer and seller agents, Sarah and I are also a great resource to help you understand what these things are, and we always read the title reports for our clients and point out any potential red flags as well. So knowledge is power, and this knowledge will really help you navigate the complexities of property ownership and ensure a smooth and informed experience. So thank you so much for joining us today as we talked about navigating easements, surveys, and boundaries. Please join us next time. And before you leave this video today, please like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss a single video. Thank you so much.